I just got back from a multi-day intensive training with Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group. Not sure if you can see that. This was a room full of financial professionals across the country, CPAs, financial advisors, estate attorneys, insurance agents just like me, and all of us are obsessed with one thing, helping you avoid the big retirement savings time bombs, as Ed Slott calls them in his book. The retirement savings time bomb ticks louder. If you don't yet know Ed Slott, he is America's leading IRA expert, and I get to learn directly from him and his team every year because I'm a member of the Ed Slott Elite IRA Advisor Group. And I'm really excited about this because Ed Slott himself will be joining us early next year for a live conversation right here on the Retirement Income School. For this lesson, I'm going to walk you through 3 key rules I learned at the event I just attended using actual quotes from Ed Slott, and I'll show you simple, practical solutions to improve your retirement plan. If it's your first time here, I'm Dr. Amanda. Welcome to the Retirement Income School. This is your place for financial education to learn how to protect your wealth and generate guaranteed lifetime income so you can retire financially relaxed. All right, let's jump to this lesson. Ed Slott's 3 rules, tax secrets retirees miss. As I said, I just returned from the Ed Slott IRA Advisor Group member meeting, and I learned a ton. And, I just want to say Ed Slott, stand-up guy, really cares about what he does, and he attracts a powerful crew of people. If you haven't read his book yet, I will put it in the show notes. It's called The Retirement Savings Time Bomb Ticks Louder. Really great read. And of course, at an Ed Slott event, there's a lot of different types of advisors. And as you all know, if you've been with me for a while, that here on the Retirement Income School, I focus on teaching you about annuities and high cash value life insurance so that you can have a portion of your portfolio that's in the safe money bucket. I like the guarantees, and I want to make sure you have contractual guarantees so that you know exactly what you're getting when you retire. So if you're with me, you're probably somebody who's not into a ton of risk and market volatility, or if you are, you still like that safe money bucket so that you can take more risks in the rest of your portfolio. All that said, the reason you don't see my face today, it's because my computer blew up this weekend. I had a software glitch on my Mac and it doesn't work anymore. So I am having some tech issues that are making my recordings all out of whack. So you're getting just my voice today if you're watching this on YouTube. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk about rule number 1 that I learned at this recent event with Ed Slott. So rule number 1, always pay taxes at the lowest rates, even if that means paying taxes before they are required. I'm going to say that again. Always pay taxes at the lowest rates, even if that means paying taxes before they are required. Now, at first, this sounds counterintuitive. Why would I choose to pay taxes early? Isn't the whole point of a traditional IRA or 401k to delay taxes? Here's why Ed Slott says this. He says this because delaying taxes doesn't always save you money. In retirement, delaying taxes can actually cost you money. Think about it like this. Tax rates today are historically low. Right now, we're in an era where we know the tax brackets for a period of time that are quote unquote permanent. We know that they might change in the future, but the rates and the brackets are historically low. So this might be a good time to pay taxes early. Another thing to think about is that in your 60s, your income might dip as you transition into retirement, lowering your tax bracket. But then once RMDs kick in your 70s, the IRS controls your withdrawals. So the same income that would have been taxed at 12%, 22%, or 24% today might be taxed at 32% later, or even 35% or 37%. So this is why Ed is famous for saying it's not about paying the least tax this year. It's about paying the least tax over your lifetime. Paying some tax now voluntarily while rates are low can save you huge amounts later when the IRS forces money out. So a simple solution is to take voluntary withdrawals or Roth conversions during low tax years to avoid higher taxes later. What this could mean for you is converting 20 to 60K per year during your 60s, filling up the 22% or 24% tax bracket so that you reduce the size of your RMDs later, locking in today's lower rates, or simply shifting money from tax later to tax never. This is what smart retirees are doing, and they're planning for this. They're not guessing. It's not all or nothing. It's just simple strategic moves while the math is on your side. This is one of the reasons that I specialize in Roth Conversions using annuities, so that you can typically get a 10-year contract with an annuity and do partial Roth conversions over time, so that in those years where you haven't filled up to the top of your bracket, you can do a conversion to fill up to the top of your bracket and then reduce the size of your RMDs later. So it's about tax strategy management, tax bracket management. It's not this rule of, oh, I'm never going to pay taxes now unless I have to. Instead, it's pay taxes at the lowest rate, even if it means paying taxes before they're required. All right, let's talk about Ed Slott's rule number 2. And he says this a lot. This is a great one. Your IRA is an IOU to the IRS. This is probably one of his most famous lines, and it's one that retirees remember forever. When you look at your IRA balance on paper, let's say it says $1 million. It feels like it's all yours, but it's not. A portion of that money belongs to the IRS. You just don't know how much yet because it depends on future taxes. So Ed Slott calls it an IOU because you owe taxes on that account every time money comes out. And as tax rates change, your IOU gets bigger or smaller. But here's the kicker. The IRS controls when you must start taking money out. This is called RMDs, or required minimum distributions. But those don't control what tax bracket you'll be in, whether Medicare surcharges, IRMAA, gets triggered, whether Social Security becomes taxable, whether the widow's penalty affects you when one spouse passes and then you move into a single filing status versus a married filing jointly status, or whether your kids will be forced to drain your IRA in 10 years at their highest income levels. That's why Ed says your IRA is an IOU. You can't ignore it. You must plan around it. So a simple solution here is to shift money from tax later to tax never by reducing your future required withdrawals. This could look like Roth conversions, qualified charitable distributions after 70 and a half, strategic spend downs in low tax years, and especially I love this one, you could use an annuity with guaranteed income to control how much taxable income you need. Even better, what if you used a Roth-friendly annuity to do partial Roth conversions over a period of time, and then when you turn on that Roth IRA income, it's tax-free. Remember, every dollar you move out of that IOU bucket now is a dollar your future self and your kids won't have to pay taxes on later. And the third Ed Slott rule that I learned at the Ed Slott IRA Advisor Group meeting was not planning for the long term is the enemy of all good tax planning. This is another classic Ed Slott line, and honestly, it might be the most important one. Most retirees do tax planning 1 year at a time, but retirement taxes don't happen in 1 year buckets. They happen in chains over time. And here's what I mean by this. RMDs increase each year as you age. Higher RMDs can push you into higher brackets. Higher income can trigger IRMAA surcharges at higher tiers. This can make your Medicare premiums spike. It can cause Social Security to be more taxable. And then when one spouse dies, the surviving spouse gets forced into a higher single tax bracket. As I said before, this is called the widow's or widower's penalty. Plus, your kids are going to inherit what's left, and they have to drain it in 10 years at their taxable rates, typically when they're in the highest income earning years of their life. So this is why not planning long-term is so dangerous. Every decision you make now impacts you, your spouse, and your family later. So a simple solution here is start early. And I'm going to emphasize that. Start early. Build a multi-year tax plan so that RMDs, IRMAA, the widow's penalty, and inherited IRA taxes don't catch you and your family off guard. This is why I teach conversion planning, and that it's also a unique plan for each person. It's not just one tax move, but a plan that spans your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and the 10-year inheritance window for your kids. So think about this. When you're in your 40s and 50s, you really want to be building that foundation of wealth and thinking into the future about, am I going to pay taxes on the seed or the harvest? And what's going to happen as my IRA and 401k grow into a big tax time bomb right during retirement income era and that decumulation phase of retirement? So in your 60s, you've typically got a lower tax window. This could be a good time to start doing conversions. Your 70s is when those RMDs begin. Depending on what year you were born, they could be at age 73 or 75. So you've got those RMDs starting. And if you didn't plan a decade before, it's not necessarily too late, but it gets harder as you're already in the RMD phase. In your 80s, you're thinking about your survivor income window and what happens with that widow's or widower's penalty. And then you also really want to consider what's going to happen in that 10-year inheritance window for my kids or the heirs of my taxable account. So it's really not just about this year's taxes. It's about minimizing taxes for the next 30 years, not the next 30 days. And it's okay if you're planning late. It's better to plan now than never. And if you're listening to this younger, get started now so that you can retire financially relaxed and not worry about these things and have them keep you up at night. And to recap, these 3 rules. Number 1, pay taxes at the lowest rates. Number 2, understand that your IRA is an IOU to the IRS. And number 3, plan for the long term. These are the foundation of Ed Slott's entire philosophy, and you'll notice that they're the foundation of everything I teach here at the Retirement Income School. Remember that Ed will be joining us early next year for a live conversation, so make sure you're subscribed to the Retirement Income School podcast or YouTube channel so you don't miss out. Click the notification bell, leave us some reviews so that we can reach more people. And in case you don't know, there's a free opportunity to chat with me about retiring financially relaxed by planning early, planning now, coming up with solutions to help you protect your wealth and generate guaranteed lifetime income, do Roth conversions using annuities, use high cash value life insurance to be able to pass on wealth to your heirs tax-free. To chat with me directly, go to retirementincome.school, and at the top of the page, you'll see book a retirement income Q&A call. These are rare opportunities to chat with me directly. It's not someone else. You talk with me, and we tailor a personalized solution for you together. We have meetings to look at your unique financial situation, and then we do a strategy overview, implement solutions, and monitor it over time. Again, retirementincome.school. Click on book a retirement income Q&A call. Thanks for being here with me for this lesson. Be sure to come back to the Retirement Income School where you'll learn how to keep your money safe and make it last so you can enjoy retirement. This content is for educational purposes only and is not financial, legal, or tax advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making decisions about your retirement.